Hi everybody. So today we are doing 3 dictations, okay? This video is entitled Chord Constructions and Dictating Trichord Operations, but we're actually going to start off by doing a quick melodic dictation. Okay, we haven't done a post-tonal melodic dictation in Modus Novus yet, so we're going to go ahead and start. It's the same basic principles of what we did before the midterm, so there's not really much to talk about. The melody that we're going to use will have the intervals that we've been singing in it. So seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, and tritones. But yeah, I don't think it'll be terribly too challenging for you. Then after we do a melody, we'll do a trichord dictation, okay, with the operations. And then we'll end by doing one of those Modus Novus chord construction progressions. Okay, so starting off, 8 measures, 5 listens. This is your melody. There's your first pitch. 8 measures, 5 listens. Here it is. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Take 15 seconds. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, listen 3 of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I messed up the last measure. I apologize. I need to make that bigger on my end. I'm going to give you another listen again. Listen 3 again. Beg your pardon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was listen 3. Take about 30 seconds, and then we'll do listen 4. Okay, here we go. Listen 4 of 5. 2 listens left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5th and final listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, take 15 seconds to finish up. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Now, what's nice about it is that the first half or so is very repetitive. It's basically only 4 notes. You've got a tritone to ascend and go back down. You then have tritone up, semitone up, tritone up. Right? The first 3 measures are basically just 4 notes over and over again. Okay? Measure 4 gets a bit more complicated, but the rhythm slows down. Instead of going up a tritone, you go up a major third. Then you go down a semitone, up a tritone, down a whole tone, down a tritone. And then you have those notes repeated again. Do we see that? How 4 into 5 is repeated as 5 into 6. And then you have major third up, semitone descent down. And then we have this kind of enclosure around B. Right? So I would say that the hardest thing here is probably that shift of that descending fourth there. After so many tritones and so many thirds, hearing the fourth. But then once you get to that fourth, that A sharp, things are pretty straightforward till the end. Whole tone up, semitone down. So hopefully this wasn't too bad. You know, we'll be singing far more complicated things than we'll be dictating. But in any case, this kind of has a little bit of everything that we've seen so far. some thirds, some fourths, some lots of semitones, lots of tritones. So this is kind of par for the course with what to expect for dictation going forwards. Okay? So, melodic dictation, taken care of. Checked off the list. Let's do a trichord dictation. Okay? So, I've given you one of the three notes. I'm going to give you 3 listens for this. I'm going to go ahead and play a chord. Okay? I'm going to play a trichord. What you have to figure out is when you adjust, because right now all we have are octave displacement and transposition. So, transposition we can figure out in a second. Okay? Figure out what our intervals are, separating our notes, after you've condensed them down to within an octave. Right? Because these notes will be displaced. They will be bigger than an octave. So condense them to their smallest form. And then once you've done that, figure out the version that stacks them all in its most compact medium. And then try to figure out what's happening there. What are your intervals? Okay? So I'm going to have you try to provide the prime form as an exercise, but for testing purposes, you'll be filling out the pitches. So you can do either as practice, but I would encourage you to try the prime form. So for instance, if you hear a shape that sounds kind of like do, re, mi, but spread across several octaves when you reduce it down, that could be an O2-4 transposed to somewhere new. Okay? So here we go. This is listen 1 of 3. Listen 2 of 3. And finally, listen 3 of 3. Okay, so we've got just the one today. Let's take a look at this one. Our top note is the note that I gave you, right? Below it, you hear a major second. So if you were to drop that top note down an octave, right? You get a semitone and a major second, or a semitone and a minor third. Right? 013, it's been transposed up a minor third from its prime form. Or pardon me, from here. Do we see that? If we were to readjust this, it would be D sharp, E, F sharp, right? But the D sharp's been displaced up an octave. And transposed from its original prime form of C. Pardon me, I keep playing in 014. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. We're just going to do the one today because I kind of want this process to kind of sit with us. We'll do more of these next week. This will become kind of a weekly process for us, add it to our bag of tricks for everything else to do. So yeah, trichord operations. It's the same thing that we were doing up to the midterm, but now adding a couple more levels of obtuseness to the process. Okay? So let's go ahead and end today by doing a Modus Novus chord construction. Okay? So I'm going to play 7 chords, 4 listens. Now remember last week we talked about how to do these. Remember that the cardinality, the number of unique pitches will evolve, that your pitches will change throughout, and that you're responsible for writing out in notation what happens where. But between chord to chord, a lot of your pitches may remain the same. So the differences may be somewhat subtle between these 7 chords. So here we go. Okay? This is listen 1 of 4. Here's your pitch. Good old C, good old 0. Okay? Pardon me. Here we go. This is listen 1 of 7. Or pardon me, 1 of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so listen 2 of 4. Think about what your cardinality was, how many unique pitches you heard at its most complicated. Try to listen for how the notes move from chord to chord, if at all. Also try to listen for the internal interval content within each chord. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, listen 3 of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fourth and final listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, go ahead and wrap up your thoughts. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Starts off with a tritone up, then a fifth up. We get this minor 9 sound between our bottom note and our top note, right? And then the first note to change is our middle note goes up, which then switches the order of where our fifth and our tritone are. So we've got tritone fifth, then it becomes fifth tritone, right? The bottom note comes up, we have a fourth and a tritone, right? And then from there, the top note goes down, we've just got stacked fourths, right? The sixth chord to the seventh chord, I think, is the most dramatic difference because every single note changes. So it's okay if you didn't get 6 to 7 because that's quite a big leap. Your outer voices collapse, and your inner voice goes up a half step to give us a major chord. Look at that, okay? It's a pretty cool progression. Hopefully that was pretty straightforward for you. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a hurdle. This one's a relatively straightforward one. It's a shorter one. It relies on a relatively limited number of intervals for its constructions. There's harder ones in the book if you'd like to practice, or of course, you can always reach out to me if you'd like extra assistance. So, that's it for today. I don't have a wrap-up slide. I'll just kind of talk about what we're doing next week. We're continuing with Modus Novus. We are moving on to sixes. So we will be doing chapter 6 and chapter 7 next week, and then moving on to repertory from chapter 8. Your homework should be posted to Goucher Space right now. We'll be continuing with trichord operations. We'll be adding some new operations. We'll be continuing with the Modus Novus chord constructions, and we'll be continuing, of course, with melodic dictation. So we're in a rhythm now. The same thing for the next couple weeks. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. I'm happy to help as in any way that I can, whether it's extra practice, answering questions for you, if you have comments or concerns about the state of the class, what have you. I'm happy to help as always. So that's all. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and I will see all of you next time.